So more now on A-levels results across England, Wales and Northern Ireland indeed. They've received their grades today, the students having not taken their normal exams due to the pandemic, of course. And more than 1 in 3 results has been downgraded from the grades forecast by the candidates' schools. Joining me now is the Joint Secretary of the National Education Union, Dr. Mary Bousted. Dr. Bousted, thank you for your time today. Now, the government say 96% of pupils will get the grades they either expected or, it's a slight change, and the number of people that are actually affected by this is relatively small. It's the best they could do in the circumstances. What do you make of that?
Well, that is what the government is saying, but the experience on the ground is very, very different. I've just looked at Twitter and we've got students and we've got schools saying that they don't understand the results. And so I'll just give you an example. I've got the school leader of a top grammar school saying that the results have been downgraded in history and computer studies in ways which do not reflect at all the results of the last 2 years on which, Ofqual says the algorithm is based. I've got schools saying 40% of history results downgraded. And actually, if 60% of results are the same with one grade, 40% have changed. And downgrading a result, downgrading even by one grade, can be critical to a student's chances. So I would say if the government was really secure and confident about its grading process with Ofqual, the exams regulator, why didn't it stick to it? Less than 48 hours before the grades were produced, Gavin Williamson produced a different method of awarding grades based on appeals on mock exams. If they were confident, they would have stuck with the grades that they've got, the system of awarding, which has been in place for months now. To change it 48 hours before the exams grades are produced is incomprehensible to me.
Do you believe that he is still fit to be Education Secretary, or are you willing to give some more time to see how this shakes down in terms of university places and appeals processes?
Well, whether he's going to be Education, my opinion on whether he's fit to be Education Secretary is not material. That's a decision for Boris Johnson. I would say, however, that this is a catastrophic policy error, and he has been asleep at the wheel, and it's either ignorance or inaction, because the effect of Ofqual's algorithm, the algorithm it used to allocate grades, should have been known to him for months. The implications of that should have been clear to him for months. And if he was going to act, he should have acted months ago, not 48 hours before the grades are given to students, who are the real casualties in this. They didn't, they are the casualties of coronavirus. It is not their fault they didn't sit the exams. The fault is that we have a system which is so based on the exam that if they can't be sat, then there's a real problem. And I would also say, if we've got the virus around for longer and there has to be local lockdowns or local school closures, then the government's plans for next year are parlously poor, because essentially they're more of the same.
How about the reaction of universities? They'll obviously be having an extremely busy morning, but we are hearing that university places are up. There are going to be more students going to university than last year, certainly. If in a few weeks' time that is the same and the appeals process goes through, would it be the case that regardless of what you've pointed out as potential errors in what Gavin Williamson and the government have done, if the universities adapt to that and are more lenient with their entry requirements, could we get to an acceptable situation?
Well, let's hope that we do. I mean, I sincerely hope that that is the case. But there is a bit of a problem there. I think universities will do everything they can to be understanding of the situation that students are in through no fault of their own, and they will attempt to accommodate their grades into the courses. But the fact of the matter is, we have more students than ever applying, because looking around at the job market, it's very, very difficult for 18-year-olds, even with good A-level or good vocational qualifications, to get jobs. The number of apprentices that employers are taking on has dropped. So the fact of the matter is, we don't know yet how well universities will be able to accommodate. Let's hope they can, but we don't know that, and we'll have to wait and see. But I would say something else as well. Notwithstanding whether universities can accommodate well or not, what students had every right to expect was an ordered, clear consistent method of allocating grades for A-level and next week for GCSE. That is what the government is mandated to provide through its qualification system. And Gavin Williamson's panicked last-minute reaction has just pulled the rug out from under that. And reputationally, this is disastrous for the government. And actually, it does no good for our qualification system, because if parents and students and employers lose confidence in that, then really we're in a mess.
OK, Dr. Mary Bousted, thank you for taking the time to speak to us.